Welcome back to another episode of D-Suite Nation. I am Dan Hutchinson. Ray Ascencio cannot be with us today. He's taking care of some personal issues. But with us today, we have back former guest on our show, Mr. Pat Rev Ferris.
What's the pound of time called right now? Yeah, how's it going?
And also with us today is Pat's son, D3 football player for Adrian College.
No, it's Manchester. They beat Adrian.
You sent me the highlight. Sorry, not Adrian.
That's odd. A lot of people think the same thing too. They recruited him, and Manchester beat the offer by a little bit. So we just jumped to Manchester.
My apologies. Manchester College, defensive back for Manchester College, Thade Ferris.
Yeah, that's my occupation, I guess.
All right. Yeah, we wanted to invite Pat back because we had him on earlier in the season, and we did some Lions talk, and we said
college too. We were on the money with a lot of that too. We really were.
Yes, we were.
Especially when it come to Michigan State. You guys said I couldn't be fans of both, and I'm like, I'm gonna like whoever's better, and it would come down to it. Now, can I say something about that? I'm one of those guys, and I don't have a favorite, which is tough. You guys need to kick me out, but I still don't believe State won that game. I think the powers helped that. Michigan was a better team this year. They was.
They were a better team, but that day Michigan State was the better team. They got outplayed that day.
Running back come to life. So ran right over him. But yeah, okay.
Yeah, but we said we were going to bring Pat back to talk Lions again at the end of the season. And
we called that.
We did.
We call it on the money too. Yeah. Everybody's like, "Oh no, we got golf. We're going to the Super Bowl." It's like, what? We'd be lucky to win 3 games, right?
So I mean, it's kind of fitting that Ray isn't with us today, although we miss him very much. But Ray, as everybody knows, hates talking about the Lions. So today is the perfect date for D-Suite Lions talk here because Ray's not here.
All right.
And also with us today, we have Justice Brown joining us from the Takeover podcast.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. I got questions for you, audio questions when we're done too. Are you people out there optical to quarter inch? I'm lost. So, okay.
I got you.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
There's an adapter in the middle or something, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ryan could not be with us today too, so I asked Justice to join us, and he kindly obliged. So welcome, Justice. Glad to have you here today.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
How's your weekend going?
Going good so far.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens tomorrow.
Little break from dealing with your buddy Marcellus over there.
I got to deal with him tomorrow. So.
We love you, Marcellus.
I love you, Marcellus. Please don't beat me up.
All right, so let's get into Thade. What's it like as a D3 athlete at Manchester College?
I mean, it's
scoot up to the mic.
My bad. Yeah, it's kind of like it's honestly just a little step up from high school. It's not that different, honestly. Like the school's a little bit harder, obviously, and it's a little more competitive, but it's pretty much the same game. It's not that much different. I don't feel like I expected to learn a lot more than I really did, but it's more like you show what you know. They don't really teach you anything. It's kind of just.
So as far as coaching, you mean you're not being
No, you're not getting taught anything. They teach you the plays. That's it. You gotta learn skills on your own. Pretty much, you run and you do plays at practice.
One of the things he told me too, he was really excited. He was hoping to get higher learning, higher coaching. He's like, I know more than these coaches do, Dad. And it's possible. What's really interesting about this interview, and this is very cool for me, is as you guys can tell, I'm a deaf guy, so I'm going to talk as much as I can so I don't have to listen, right? And this poor guy never learned to talk because I did all the talking for him, So this is cool, man. So I get to learn something today too.
So as far as your position coaches don't kind of give you some tips and coaching that helps improve your game?
Not really. That was surprising to me because I had to beg him just to. Because I wasn't starting at first. I had to beg him to just let me know what I needed to do, and he still wouldn't give me a straight answer. It was kind of, I don't know. It was just weird that they don't teach you much. It's just you got to know. You got to be. Yeah,
well, you got to take advantage of your opportunity in that D3 school. If you're not being coached up, you got to work hard and
Show out.
Show out. Yeah. You got to show out. You know, if Manchester's not your ultimate goal of like where you want to end your college career or even, you know, football career, then show out and move up, transfer to another school, and you know, you got to take care of those opportunities. So you started off as a wide receiver, right?
Yeah.
What led to that transition from wide receiver to defensive back?
Honestly, like I couldn't get through to the coach. Like he just would tell me to do things and I do them, and he still wouldn't give me like enough playing time that I wanted. So eventually, I was complaining, you know, to another player, and the coach overheard me. He overheard me complaining, and he was like, "Well, if you think you can do better on defense, you should just go over there." So I'm like, you know what? If you don't want me to stay, I might as well go. I couldn't stay after that, so I switched to defense that week, and you know, the new coach liked me a lot more.
A head coach is a defensive coordinator too, and I got the message. The dad message just says, "Hey man, I need a real athletic kid, you know, and we want to try Thade out at to safety." I'm like, he played that in high school, so I mean, he got picks and his highlight tapes from high school and huddle, you know. So he had 3 interceptions his senior year, you know, and went in 7 games, 49 tackles or something. That's pretty good, you know. Just an athlete. It'll work out. Now, I want to talk about, like, it was tough for him because, I mean, we started out, I was obsessed with it. Like, Charles Rogers is his cousin. He was drafted to the Lions the year that Thade was born. You know, we had Thade, a little Lions jersey and a little thing, and Charlie picked him. He was there, and we were all there. The family were excited, you know. And so his whole life, when he could crawl, I'd roll the ball. I'd throw the ball, get on the trampoline. It was like every day, all the time, you know. And his mom's like, I don't see it. He's not like Charles. He's not a natural. And I thought, well, you know what? If I do it every single day, he's going to catch on, like ride the bike. So we did that. I mean, extensive. This dude from 7th grade to his 11th grade year, we'd get done with the football season and go down to Soundbody in Detroit and in Grosse Pointe. And those kids, Cass Tech, Martin Luther King, those kids are studs. I mean, they're all D1s. Every one of them are criminals. I mean, but you got to be on the field. That's the one place not to have your manners. You know, I tell him to, you know, open doors for people, but when you're in the playing field, that's not a place to have your manners. That's the place to take people's heads off, you know, and it's hard for him. He'll passively stand there and go on the sideline and just play second string if it comes down to it. He won't fight for it. He's getting better. He's learning down there. Now, I got a lot of emails from him down there going, man, I'm way better than these guys, you know, but there seems to be an honor system probably on all teams. You know, you're walking off the street and take over no matter how good you are. And we've seen that with a lot of these kids that went to the D1 schools that are not playing. They're redshirted and they're on the scout team. And that. But COVID hit, and it hit us hard because he was making a name for himself, man. Antonio Brown's son. Or not Antonio Brown, but Antonio Gates' son. They were in camp together for 7th grade on.
Play with him a lot, yeah.
Keep track of each other's 40 time down at Ford Field, you know. And you know he committed to Michigan State, so he's going to do well. He's a stud, you know. But Thade was like neck and neck with everybody down there, and then COVID hit, and it crushed us. Like they canceled this season. And I've been working my whole life for this, you know, because I don't have a lot of money. So I'm like, boy, we need to get you a scholarship. So we're working at this now, and it'll pay off later. And then there's no season. We were at Lakeville. There's not a lot of offers, but he's big, you know. I mean, 6'6" you're going to catch somebody's eye, you know, or 6'5", 6'4" in high school. Yeah, but I chose the D3 because I thought it would be a better idea for him to play football instead of watch football. So if you go to like a D1, like, you know, CMU, and you get put on the practice squad, you get a lot of experience. And it's not a good experience. You know, coaches don't even know your name. You're out there working your butt off. You're waiting your turn. But if you're not pulling your grades off, it all could get discouraging. And I thought D3 would be good for him. And I wanted to send him away where I couldn't be involved. You know, Dad, you're a helicopter dad, and you're, you know, watching every move they're doing, and you think the coach is bad, you're going to get involved. Well, I can't do that down there. So, and that was frustrating for me, man. I could hardly breathe that night, man. I'm like, what's going on? I wonder how he is, you know. And he's the kind of dude, the opposite of me, he doesn't communicate a lot. So I was just like losing my mind, wondering what's going on. And then I want to be that dad that like reached out to coach. He's in college now. I don't care what I think back in Flint, you know. So he had to find his way. I think it's a good deal. And our plan was to do D3 a couple of years and then transfer to like a CMU or a Western Michigan or even a Ferris. Yeah. And that, we got connections to Saginaw Valley too. We thought about it this year too, but he's like, man, I let him talk to me. He's like, man, I think I'm going to do well this year, you know. And I like that. Thinking for himself.
You got to take advantage of your opportunities. You know, just because you got the only offer you might have got was a D3 offer, you take advantage of that opportunity, and you know, show your stuff, show out, and you know, you may start there, but you don't have to end there. You know, your journey doesn't end at a D3 school.
Nope.
You know, we've seen guys move through the levels and move into the NFL from D3 and JUCO. You know, Aaron Rodgers started at junior college. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
Aaron Rodgers started at junior college before he transferred to Cal, and look at him now. He's one of the best quarterbacks ever in the NFL.
Like the Kurt Warner story too, man. The American underdog. You just gotta want it, and you gotta find your way, man. And it doesn't, as long as you're playing. If you're not playing, that's when it's done. The only time you fail is when you quit to keep trying.
Yeah.
You know, or fail to keep trying. So that's when it's done.
As far as, you know, the coaching thing goes, you know, you got to, when you're an athlete trying to prove yourself, you got to speak with your actions and not your words.
Yep.
Right? Like, you don't need to use your words. You know, as long as you're working hard, when you work hard in the gym, you live in the gym, work hard on the practice field.
They see you.
Study tape, you know what you're doing on the field, and make people notice you.
Yep.
You know, don't wait for people to notice you. Make people notice you.
I seen his film. He sent me his practices. He was showing out, you know, but he's waiting his turn because there's 5-year guys even in a D3. They've been there, you know, like 26 years old, you know, and they didn't do much on their freshman year. They got to come back at a 5th year of eligibility, you know, so they're there. And then coaches know them for 5 years. Then this kid from Flint, you know, right?
Yeah, he's going to go. The dude's been there half a decade. He's going to get playing time. That's just how it works.
Yeah. But no, no excuses, man. You can't make excuses. You got to work hard and you got to earn it. Nobody's going to give it to you. You got to earn it.
Right.
Yeah. You got to live in that gym, put some muscle on, take care of your body, and work hard in the practice field. And when you're on the field, like your dad said, there's no niceties on the field. You know, up to that point of, like, you know, we're not going to be a dirty player,
right?
But you need to be physical, right? And all that. I've told my son this before because he's played a little bit of sports, and especially trying to get him into football. It's like, football is a place where you can take all that bullshit that happens to you, you know, during the week or whatever, and all those frustrations, all the anger, and you could. That's where you can exercise those demons,
and
right?
it's perfectly legal.
And it's perfectly
Nobody's
legal.
pressing charges, man.
Yeah, it's perfectly legal. You know, that the football field is a place to do that. So.
Now, see, another thing about D3 too, and a lot of parents probably don't know this, is like they'll dance, man. It's like you get a school like Elma, they're going to throw a number at you like $30,000 for a year. You're like, seriously, $30,000? You know, you pay to play, but the kid's really good. And he's been to some camps and they've seen some film, and they'll go, you get him in here for like 11,000. So once you got that 11,000, then you go to Adrian and you go, well, you know, we go to Elma for 11,000. What can you do? And they start to dance. Yeah. You know, and we got lucky kind of with the one showcase that they had for 2020 for the 21 graduating year was the Manchester coaches were there, and he had a really good turnout. You know, he ran a good 40, and he didn't drop any passes. He was the tallest, the biggest wingspan. Like, hold your arms out there. Yeah, like 80-inch wingspan.
They measured it out. They measured me out. It was crazy, man. Like,
they size and measure you for sure, man.
They got my hands. I stretched them out. I think they gave me like 10 inches, and I think that was like the biggest one there. I was pretty much the biggest one there. And that was
you're a tall kid. You got this. You got the measurables. You know, even on the NFL level, you got the measurables as far as height. You know,
the tools are there. If he wants it, he's got to find it.
Yep.
Because it's all there. There's nothing like doubting that.
That's the only muscle that matters right there in the middle of your chest. You know, you got the heart, and you're willing to put in the work. You can make anything happen.
When I saw his mommy, right, like I'm on stage, man, his mom's like beautiful, like Beyonce. I mean, just holy, look at that, you know. Just the guy's like, he goes, that's Charles Rogers' cousin. I'm like, huh? I want to make me an NFL football player, and, you know, and not before I met her. So
now I will tell you, I'm not gonna dog on your cousin, Charles Rogers, one of the most talented wide receivers I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Talent doesn't get you everywhere.
Nope.
Right. You got to head the head to go along with the talent, right? So obviously we all know what happened to Charles Rogers in his personal life and the things that kept him off the field. But that man could have been great,
man,
if he would have kept his head straight and
he was fast. He was stupid fast. Because I had a bass player in my band that was from East Lansing. His dad was a track coach, Bibbs, and Tony was my bass player. And Coach Bibbs he tied Jesse Owens 60-yard dash or something. But he said Charles would come out and beat the track team. Everybody on the track team just walk on the field, beat everybody, and then walk off. He's the fastest kid he's ever seen. So yeah, and that was Charles Rogers.
So Thade, what's some of the differences, like as far as college, right? Even though it's D3, you're still in college. You know, what are some of the big differences between, you know, college life and high school life? What are some of the things you like? What are some of the things you don't like? The biggest differences you've noticed?
Well, the biggest difference is obviously just like being at school all the time. I mean, it's kind of cool. I don't need to wake up like half an hour early. I can just like 10 minutes. I can shower and walk to class and like get breakfast and do all that because it's all like just right
there on campus.
Yeah, it's just I sleep a lot more. I'm up a lot later because nobody's there to make me go to bed either.
It's college.
Yeah, I'm in my room, man.
Yeah. You got to take care of your body though. You got to get that rest. What time you got to be up for? What's your practice schedule like?
Practice was we had the morning lifts, man. They were killer. It was Tuesdays and Thursdays. We'd have these morning lifts. They were like 6 a.m., 7 a.m. And then my classes started at 9, but I was up later because I was doing a lot of homework. But they weren't that bad, but I made them a lot worse than they were staying up late. The 6 a.m. like squat and deadlift and whatnot.
Yeah,
it wasn't that bad. But
okay. Another thing that helps, your grade point. Like if you're above 3 point, they're going to throw a lot of grants at you too, and all those numbers like crunch down to nothing too. And then Thade does pretty well. So like he calculus off the bat because he took a placement exam, and that's where they put him in calculus. I'm like, really? First semester, your freshman year? But he was up late studying, so like, it worked out.
made it through.
Yeah. So what are your goals, Thade? What do you see yourself 5 years from now?
It all really depends.
No, nothing depends.
What
are your goals?
What I want to do?
What do you want?
Yeah. In 5 years, if I'm still working as hard as I am right now, man, honestly, I just want to keep playing. Hopefully, I can keep playing the sport. Hopefully, I can keep playing football. 5 years, I'd be graduated, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to jinx myself, but I'm see myself in the league, just hanging out.
Yeah, there's different options. There's the NFL, obviously. There's Canadian Football League.
Yep. USFL's coming in this spring, right?
USFL.
Michigan Panthers are coming back.
Yep. Michigan Panthers are one of the 10 teams, I think. Is it 10 or 8 teams?
Yep.
Coming back for the USFL.
I think it's 8, but
you've got arena
they can
football.
Expand, man.
Man. Dude, arena. I used to play like
Canadian
football. Like I used to play like with the local teams, the arena football thing with my cousin, man. They would lay me out. Like it was a hockey rink. We'd play in a hockey rink, and like we played the Flint Fury, dude. Like some grown men just slammed me against the hockey glass, man. And it was like no pads, no nothing. Just threw me against that thing.
That's crazy.
My theory behind that is like just more reps. The more playing experience you get, no matter what level it is or what it is, just gives you more vision. And I watched this grow and develop on Thade, whether he saw it or not. Like I told you, we go to Grosse Pointe as soon as the season was done. We do Sound Mind, Sound Body till about Christmas, and then these leagues would come up 7-on-7s that are done at Pontiac. Rising Stars, Reggie Wynn puts them on Sound Mind. Sound Body puts them on. Legacy has spots all over the state. And these teams come to Pontiac in the soccer arena and they play. They do tournaments. It's pretty high level stuff, man. It's cool. Then that was over. So then there was a stretch of like, I'd say February to April that a lot wasn't going on. There's men's 7-on-7 leagues, like in Waterford, like at the, what's it called? The Oxford, or was it the Yard?
They just call it the Yard.
And it's a grown men that just won't give up. Guys that used to play for Michigan, guys that used to play for Michigan State. It's pretty high level too, So I just kept him out there. And then the Flint Fury had a league at Iceland over there in Flushing.
Yeah.
Super cold in there, like 15 below zero always, man. Just couldn't warm up, man. The whole ride home, I never got warm. And those guys went after it, man. And he went after it with him. And I just figured more and more reps with getting more familiar. And I noticed, like, being a wide receiver that he was, that he had a good instinct on defense because he knew what wide receivers were going to do. And he's a step ahead of them. He's looking as the play starts to develop. He's like, oh, I'm going to run right in front of this guy because that's what they're going to do. He sees that stuff. And that's why I'm kind of like going, stick with defense, because I don't think on any level that there's a wide receiver or running back that thinks they're getting the ball enough. And every one of those guys are complaining or crying. Like, you watch Hard Knocks with Indianapolis Colts.
I've watched every season of Hard Knocks.
The rookie wide receivers, mom and dad at Thanksgiving, like, you just don't get the ball enough. You're open all the time. That's the life of a wide receiver or running back. If you're playing defense, you get the ball as much as you want. Go get it. Yeah. Nothing's stopping you, man.
Right.
Because you'd be frustrated, like everybody. Antonio Brown's like a little show he put on. That's what was going on there. He either wasn't getting it enough or he didn't want to get it.
That's most receivers in the league ever. When you're a wide receiver, they kind of come built with that.
Yep.
that diva mentality, right?
To get to that level, they're that good. So they've always been everybody kissed their ass forever.
Yeah.
Now they're not used to not getting their ass kissed.
The great wide receivers think they're open on every play.
Oh, right.
Right. Why did you throw the ball? It was wide open. No, you weren't. But okay.
Right.
But yeah, that's kind of a built-in quality with a wide receiver, and it's not all the time all bad. You got guys like, Keyshawn Johnson, for example. Like, he was a great player. He had that diva mentality, kind of like, I'm open, throw me the damn ball, right? Remember the book he wrote? But he was not a bad guy, right? He didn't cause issues for his teammates. He's not that Terrell Owens, Antonio Brown type of
Bryant. Yeah.
Right.
Bryant fought his own teammates.
Des Bryant.
Yeah.
They not those guys that, they want the ball, but yet they're kind of a distraction on the team too. They're still, they're not really team players, whereas guys like Keyshawn Johnson, Chris Carter was another guy like that.
Yeah.
They're great teammates, but they are also like, throw me the damn ball.
And look how Randy Moss matured and became
Randy Moss, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep, Randy Moss was that same
Speaking
way.
of wide receivers, let's talk about Cooper Kupp, out there for the Rams. I mean, you give Matthew Stafford any credit for his success since they're identical to Calvin Johnson? Or
Cooper Kupp won the Triple Crown of receiving this year, receiving
team
touchdowns,
kind of guy,
yards, catches.
No show about him. He ain't arrogant. He just gets it done and takes care of business.
He's my favorite kind of wide receiver. The guy he's just quiet. He doesn't talk. He goes out there on the field and he does his damn job.
And he runs a 4.6. He's not lightning fast. He's not big enough or fast enough for the NFL, but he's the best.
And I mean, say what you want about Matthew Stafford, but you got to give him credit. He's responsible for two of the greatest wide receiver performances in the history of the league. Right? Calvin Johnson and now Cooper Kupp.
Absolutely, man. Because we were listening to 97.1, they taking it away down there. I just like listening to them. They were ragging on Matt's 17 interceptions, But we also know in Detroit that Matt will play with a broken back, so
no one
he's not going to let you know he's hurt. But
no one can doubt that he's tough as nails. That's his one concern. And yeah, we saw it again this year. The interceptions, the Rams are playing great, but then they have those games against Tennessee and Arizona, I think. Yeah. Where they just look like garbage and the last few games, Stafford's thrown quite a few picks the last couple of games, and it's like, man, if you could just stop throwing picks.
Because everything else has been good, but now you're just starting to make everybody right about you, man.
Yeah, you're just fueling fire to that talk of like, this is Matthew Stafford's thing. He's a great quarterback, but he can't stop throwing picks.
And again, like you said too, like
in big
just
moments.
A genuine dude too. You've never heard him come out and go, man, the Lions, it just sucks here or nothing. Just gave you everything he had and didn't complain. Had goods and bad days and just was still mad. Still come back to work, man. And no drama, just a real super genuine guy. I was really sad to see him leave, but I was happy he got out too. He's too old for rebuild, and he kind of like Verlander. He deserves a ring, and whether he gets it or not, it's a tough task. But so speaking of which, who you got, man? Who you think's tough? You mentioned the Titans. Henry's back, man, and Titans have been tough the whole time, because I have a confession. I joined the Rams fan page, and they lost their mind when they lost the Titans. I'm like, are you kidding me? The Titans are beasts, man. I mean, you're lucky you contended with them,
I tell you what, I started following the Rams just because of Matthew Stafford.
And especially they were winning. You were 5-0. I'm like, okay, man, this is what I always thought. You know,
they were a good team to begin with. Even with Jared Goff, and they were down a couple, the last couple of years since their Super Bowl appearance. But yeah, I became a Rams fan when Stafford went to the Rams. Yeah. Because I wanted to see Stafford do well.
Me too.
I was like, this is okay. This is your opportunity, and you're now you have no excuses. You're on a good team.
Yep.
You don't have that. Nobody can say now, well, it's Matthew Stafford. He's on a shitty team. He doesn't have this, doesn't have that. Now he has it all.
He has it all. And they kept adding too, man.
So now we got to see some results. So yeah, I started following the Rams, and I tried to watch as many Rams games this year as I could. And actually, the beginning of the season, my Super Bowl picks at the beginning of the season were Rams Bills.
Okay.
I picked the Rams and the Buffalo Bills to go in the Super Bowl. I'm not sure that what's going to happen now. It's hard to pick anybody. It's hard to pick against the Packers in the NFC
really
right
is.
now.
Yep. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, but he's cold, man. He's just good. He just makes it happen. Nobody else on the team really. Who else is on the team?
Right.
Aaron Rodgers.
Now the AFC is hard to pick. The AFC is literally wide open to me. There's not one team in the AFC that you can say like the Packers
Yeah.
right? NFC, you can say, okay, maybe it's going to be the Packers or the Bucks if they can stay healthy.
The Bengals look good. They see like there's a scary team, man.
The Bengals are hot.
Along,
the Bengals are a hot team. Yep. Joe Burrow's been playing good, putting up numbers. Of course, Kansas City is still there.
Yep.
Buffalo's still there.
Kind of. Not as good as last year. Something's a little off. But,
yeah, a couple teams that should be front runners like Kansas City and Buffalo that kind of maybe took a little step back this year.
Did, yeah.
Not playing on that same level, but you can't count those teams out as well. I think the only team in the AFC that you can count out,
Eagles,
in the AFC,
I'm sorry,
are the Steelers.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
The Steelers just don't have it.
No, like I text him in college, and him and his teammates are ragging on. What did you guys say about Ben? Big Ben?
Oh, he said he moves like a tree or something.
He's as mobile as a tree. He said, "I'm like, it's perfect, man."
You know
big
what?
Tree in the middle.
He's been mobile as a tree his whole career.
Yeah,
but I was a fan of Ben Roethlisberger immediately when he came into the league. He's a big quarterback. He can't run, but he can move and he can escape.
Yeah.
Right. And it's hard to bring him down. We've seen throughout his career, we've seen linebackers try to tackle him. We've seen him shrug off linebackers.
Yeah.
He's just a big guy. That's why they call him Big Ben. But he can move enough to avoid the hit, escape a hit, and throw the ball. And he's been really good at that.
The Rev Right Time, we used to play a club down in Findlay, Ohio, and it's where he went to high school, and the club is a shrine to him, like his Steelers and the people that own it and work there played high school football with him. So it's really cool, man.
Yeah,
that's neat. So I'm like, all right, cool. Get me in the league.
Are you watch the NFL? You follow the NFL pretty closely?
Yeah, a little bit. I used to watch it a lot more before I got in college.
Make him watch the Lions, a poor kid. Man.
Who's your teams?
Who's
your team?
I'm still with the Lions. I mean,
you guess?
Yeah, I mean, I this year
you got to be ride or die, man. Either you're with us or against us.
Right.
I'm with it then. I mean, I didn't really watch a lot this year. I was kind of in my own football thing. You
get to see many Lions game down in Indiana?
I mean, on my phone, I can pretty much watch whatever.
But what do you get down there? What
who's it? Probably Colts.
Which team? The Colts.
A lot of Colts games.
Yeah,
obviously. Yeah.
I don't watch the Colts. But yeah.
Look, I'm sorry. Yeah, because you're gonna talk over the boy like usual. Hutch, I hated Goff with a passion. I thought this kid's not even athletic, but he grew on me. Once we got Reynolds, he started to win me, man, and he did it. And then he took a game off. I'm like, what a pussy. But okay. And then he came back and they played. I'm like, you know what?
He had COVID.
I want to keep you around now, man.
No, he had COVID. He was out because of COVID.
Oh, what a pussy. I almost canceled this week because I thought I had COVID, but I didn't. I work for a clinic, so I get tested twice a week. And, once you get in your mind, you think you got something, you'll think yourself into it. It usually happens, but it comes out. It's just getting old, I guess. Back pains, But, yeah, he grew on me. I didn't think St. Brown was good enough or big enough, but man, he's a stud. He's like young Golden Tate,
Amon-Ra St. Brown. A lot of people hyped him up at the beginning of the season.
I didn't. I'm like, nah.
No, well, I mean, as far as the experts, a lot of people in the draft, draft and said this guy's the steal of the draft.
Yeah, I remember that.
We didn't see a lot of that in the beginning of the season, but man, towards the end of that season, man, that guy came on, and he looks like he's going to be. I'm not going to say great. But he looks like he's going to be on this team for a while.
For sure. Yep. And I hope we re-sign Reynolds. Are they working on that? Because Reynolds, Goff found a comfort zone with him, and we just started to pick up, and Hawk wasn't healthy. I mean, this could work. If we go defense in this draft, yeah. I mean,
we still need to add.
We need an offensive coordinator, dude. I mean, Campbell, come on, man. Bite kneecaps. That's cool. That's a meathead mentality, man. We need somebody who's going to be calm and collective and think.
Well, I mean, that's a bonus or that's a testament to, I think, who Dan Campbell is as a coach, right? Being a first-year head coach, going into week 6 and having the gumption to take over their offensive play calling from an established offensive coordinator, and former head coach, and Anthony Lynn. So yeah, they do need to find an OC, a good OC.
And he 3rd and 28. I mean, come on, dude. Because we got outcoached in 7 of those losses, man. And we were, if you at those 7, even the tie, we should have won if we didn't have Pablo kicking that field goal.
That kicker, I can't even remember his name.
Me neither. Pablo, how did he come to Florida?
That's probably the worst kick in the history. There's probably some high school kickers that can make a better kick than that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? when you're in the league, you can't make a kick like that. That was the worst thing. That game, nobody wanted to win that game.
No,
it was like you're on the field and you're turning over and going back and forth and making all these mistakes. It's like nobody wants to win this game. Like somebody just want to win this game?
Right.
And then we tie and then
so awful.
play shit like that. Deserve to lose the game, and then it goes against our draft status and man. And then the last game against the Packers. Now, this is up for debate. Justice, I'm curious to hear your opinion about this, too. I know you don't know a lot about sports, but so last game of the season, right? The Jaguars own the number 1 pick. We own the number 2 pick.
Or it could go either way, right? At that point. Or wasn't it? We had one more win than them, right?
At that point, the Jags were playing the Colts. We were playing the Packers. Jags were 1. We were 2. The Jags kicked the Colts' ass.
Beat them.
Right?
Wiped them out.
So
eliminated the playoffs.
All we have to do is lose the game. We get the number 1 pick back, right? But no, we win the game. So now we're staying at number 2, right?
Okay.
So this is a hard debate because as an athlete, even as a coach, you don't want to teach losing, right? You don't want to lose on purpose, right? So I'm curious to know everybody's opinion in that situation. If you're the coach, GM, player, whatever, where'd your mind go in that decision? Do you the Lions were trailing with less than 2 minutes to go in that game? And all they had to do was kind of just run the ball, run the clock out, just don't do too much, and you got the number 1 pick back. But at the same time, you have the opportunity to beat the Packers, who are the number 1 seed in the NFC. So I'm going to start with Thade. Thade, if you're the coach of the Lions in that position, what choice are you making? Are you winning the game, or are you losing to get the number 1 pick?
Honestly, I don't even think the win wouldn't give you much. The pick's obviously giving you more. I would win. I would win, but the pick gives you more, I think.
Does the pick give you more?
Yeah, for the future of the team. I don't know. Do better.
I mean, it's not like it's not like the number 1 pick. It's one more pick than the number 2 pick.
Right.
Oh,
You're still getting
pretty close.
a top 2 guy, but I don't want to influence everybody else's decisions. But you're going to beat. You're a 3-win team, and you're going to take down. And now, albeit Rodgers didn't play the 3 quarters of the game to begin with, right? So Rodgers sat out most of the game, and their starters weren't playing.
We did whip them in the first half, though. They started, so Adams could break the.
But there's that confidence growth, right? Or that
it is.
We can compete with anybody, right?
Yep, we can grow off that momentum. I love the win. I thought it was great, man. And I was watching the Lions over the years. I got to leave the room sometimes, man. Blood pressure gets so high because I just want them to win, but I just don't like that letdown, So, and I think hating on the Lions, it makes it kind of soothes you in it, mentors you through their pain because you're like, oh, they're just going to lose when they win. You're surprised, but you really want them to win. It's kind of weird. You do that too, like a love-hate love. Like, oh, they're just going to lose. Come on, for real. Interception, but you still want them to win.
Hope for the best, prepare for the worst, right? You have expectations or you have hope, but you're grounded in that reality that they suck, but there's always hope, right?
That momentum though, I just like it. Because remember when we first got Stafford, it was the same way. We won our last 2 games, and we went in with Javid Becks the next year, won the first 5 in a row. Remember in Sports Illustrated, we had Calvin and Matthew on the cover and stuff. That was like, the Lions, and Javid Becks got hurt, and then we kind of went down from that. But it is different. It's not what we've been watching. And I hate to say this, the Rams kind of look like what we've been watching. I didn't feel confident that they would win in the end either. Remember, they come back there. They had the game put away, but they let them come back in the game. But I do think the Niners are tough, though. I think Niners are going to destroy Cowboys, man. Debo, man, nobody's stopping that guy. Debo and Henry are just beasts, dude.
Yeah, defensively. So, Justice, I want your opinion. The Lions, you are in that situation. Are you winning the game? You're making the decision to win the game, or you're making the decision to try to get the number 1 pick back?
Well, if I was a coach, I get what you're saying. You get the number 1 pick. You get a really good person, really good guy from the draft. But the best player in college.
Right.
But if I'm a coach and I only have 2 wins under my belt, and you're the only football team really at the major league in the state, and everybody in the state, all eyes are on you, and you got a chance to beat the number one guys, I would tell them, you guys get out there and you win this game. No matter, I don't care who we get. If he's the best, I mean, you guys, honestly, if they beat the best, then they must be the best. But, I mean, we got too much disappointment on the Lions anyway. So, but it's nice to see that they can do what we all wanted them to do.
Right. Yeah, it sucks. In number one pick, that's all fine.
That could be a bust.
Having the number one pick. Really. But with a first-year head coach like Dan Campbell trying to establish a new era in Detroit, trying to build the new the mentality in Detroit, trying to win that locker room and move this franchise in the right direction. That was a good. I would have made the same call. Yeah. Like, let's go out there and win this game. We're not gonna count wins. We're not gonna try to purposely lose for a draft pick. We're trying to win on the field every time we go out.
Michael J. Fox in the DeLorean. It's like, this is the team. This is my team. We're gonna win today because we're winners. Yeah, and I had no belief in any of them. I mean, because there was nothing to believe in. Nobody was proving it all. It was like, we had no edge defense. We had nothing. We had no wide receivers. Our coaches are all green. They were rooks that never did anything really, let alone, win. Everybody's like, oh, we're going to win the division again. I'm like, we're not even going to win any games. But they managed to put it together. Defense, that dude's a rock star, man. I don't know how he did, because none of those people, we don't have any stars on that defense. And damn it, we were contenders. I mean, we were a team you didn't want to play at the end of the season. We really were, and I don't want to lose him. And he's doing some head coaching interviews right now with Denver. And
who's that?
Our defensive coordinator.
Oh, name just escaped me, from the Rams. He's an ex-defensive back for the Rams. Aaron Glenn.
Stud.
Aaron Glenn.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's not too bad. I mean, I don't know if
I think they're flirting with him. I think we'll get him back. I hope.
I don't know that I get that excited about Aaron Glenn, but with the players that they had on defense, they did a pretty okay job. Now, like Derek Barnes impresses me a little bit.
Just what I was just going to say that. You check about Barnes. When he was he had a couple sacks, and he had a good game before that where he had the 2 sacks. I'm like, man, at number 53, I told a guy at work, I was, he's good, man. And I'm looking at the roster, he wasn't on there. I'm looking at him, who is he? And then the next game, the back of his jersey says Barnes. So they had him from the team, 2 weeks out. He was just unknown.
Yeah, they drafted him. I think it was a fourth.
Okay, so he was
pick.
The rook that they. Okay,
yeah, 4th round pick out of Purdue.
My bad. So yep. Okay,
middle linebacker,
beast, man.
Obviously, Okuda out again this year. We don't know what he's going to be. I don't think a lot of people have high hopes that he's going to pan out, but he's going to get another shot next year. Hopefully, he can stay healthy. Hopefully, he can prove the worth of that number 3 pick.
Little guys get hurt, man, and because I spent a lot of time with the Beecher's ex-coach that had Lawrence Taylor and Courtney Hawkins and all the NFL guys, that from Beecher, the area that he was their coach in high school, and we always talk about players around the area, and there was a kid, I don't want to mention names, and he was amazing. I've been following him because he's the same grade as Thade. So when I wanted to pick a school for Thade, where I picked Davison, I went and watched Scrambling. I watched all the other schools and try to find a good fit, and Sullivan, the quarterback from Davison, will go pro. That kid's ridiculous, and he was good back then. I'm like, that's where we got to go. You're a wide receiver. That's the guy. We'll fly in on those coattails. But there was a kid in the area. He's amazing. And he went to Central Michigan, and my buddy's like, he's going to start. He's a $20 million corner, man. And I goes, damn, dude, he's small, man. I mean, he's coming out of high school. He's 170 pounds. I mean, he's good, but he's too small, and then we got word that he's starting. I'm like, oh, you're right, dude. And in the first game, he got hurt. Then I was right too. So, and I knew he had the talent, but I just knew he needed to develop more. They look at that mustache and beard there, right? I mean, right. the guys with a full beard, they're going to bust you up a little bit because they're more mature. You don't want that kid with a dirt mustache, because he's not even 19 yet. It will be 19 on Monday. Happy birthday, man!
Happy birthday!
Because when Hutch asked us to do this, I goes, man, I can't. It's his birthday weekend. He goes, we'll bring him in, and I goes, that's even cooler, man. So,
well, happy birthday! Yeah, get to be on a podcast for your birthday.
But I think you got to be big, man, because that's like Big Ben Roethlisberger survived it because of his size. You get those little DBs, they get hurt. They're just little. They're quick, so they can get in the way of the wide receiver, but they get knocked down or they make a tackle, they get crushed, they're done,
Well, especially now in the NFL, I think the trend now is as far as the defensive back goes, bigger, taller defensive backs.
That's what I say to him too.
That can size up,
Yep.
with the bigger receivers in the NFL.
For a minute there, when you had Calvin Johnson, who's 6'5", could jump 13 feet in the air. Nobody
Randy
can
Moss,
stop that.
No one can match up with
Nobody
that,
can.
right?
Lost. And then, so if you put a safety out there that's 6'5", because tell him about, there's an NFL prospect at Manchester. He's been amazing. When we went down for his visit, the Colts were there looking at this kid, and they had to clash, because when Thade come down there, it's supposed to be the two big men. You got 6'5" Thade, and you got Harrington Grier, the other 6'5" kid, who's a senior this year. When he went to defense, they had to go head to head, and just kind of telling.
Tell us about that.
I went against him a couple times.
Get up to the mic now. Speak up to the mic.
I went against him a lot, but he was a little heavier than me. He's a little tougher than me. I got him most of the time. He wasn't going over me or nothing. He wasn't mossing me.
And that's what he's used to.
Yeah,
they got some frustration. I heard that they had a little fight going on because he smoked him one time in the flats.
We didn't fight. Yeah, we didn't fight. He was mad at me because I hit him. I mean, we're not really supposed to hit that much at practice to hurt people, but he had it, and I know he caught it, and I hit him to try to knock it out. Just trying to.
In practice?
Yeah, in practice. And
now, is this a practice where you're allowed to hit, or are you supposed to two-hand touch thing?
They say just run. They say just wrap up. But he's got the ball in his hands. I'm just trying to knock it out, really.
Yeah.
But I didn't lay him out or nothing. We just kind of knocked into each other.
But the scouts were there?
No, that was when I was practicing. That was
just practice. Yeah.
This year. Scouts
well, hey man, I get practicing and practicing is hard, but that is also your teammate, right?
Yeah.
And one wrong move could put your teammate out and hurt you in the long run, right? So I get if the scouts were there and you were the scouts were looking at you guys.
I'm here too.
And, it's okay to step it up a little bit to, hey, the scouts are here for you. Well, I want to show off too. I want to show off for the scouts as well. But remember, that's your teammate, man. You can't be busting up your teammates.
But my point was he couldn't get away with what he can get away with little guys. He got this big guy with the same reach on him. The big guy can jump probably higher than him because Thade is doing track down there too. So you got a guy, you're not getting away from a big guy where you can get away from a little guy. Like when Derrick Henry comes around that corner, he gets past linebackers, and here comes that DB. And everybody's like, oh, he threw that guy down. And sure, he should. The guy's coming up 170 pounds, and gets thrown at his ass because, Derrick Henry's a big, physical guy. So,
but here's the thing. Well, I'm hearing a couple things here, and here's the thing. Derrick Henry may be a beast in the NFL, right? Every one of those defensive backs in the NFL may be a little bit afraid to tackle them,
right?
But they're not going to tell you about it,
right?
You'll never hear an NFL defensive back or a safety or even a linebacker say, "Man, he's just stronger than me. He's tougher."
No, you're not going to hear that. No.
He's going to run. You're not going to hear that, right?
Ever.
So I don't want to hear this oh, he's tougher than me. He can do this better than me. He can do that better than me. Because you're just taking yourself down, right?
Right.
You got to be confident in your own skills. So what, he's taller than you. So what, he's bigger than you, right?
Yep.
Play your
big
game.
Tree fall hard, man.
use your tools to match whatever he's putting out, right?
Right.
You might not have the same strengths, but you've got strengths of your own, right? Yeah. So never use that as an excuse.
I just thought
excuses of he's stronger than me, he's tougher than me, he's bigger than me, because all you're doing is defeating yourself in your mind, right?
You're right. Yep.
Right. You got to have that confidence. I don't care how big, how fast you are. I'm the best. I'm the best on this side of the ball.
You have to think like that too, because that's what the battle is who's the best. My point was I just think that NFL probably go to bigger DBs than what they've had because the little guys are quick, but I'm thinking that they might start leaning, and that's why I'm play your defense. That could come around for you. There's not a whole lot of 6'5", 6'6" safeties out there. Just speed a little bit quicker and you'll be all right, man. So, and like I said, Cup's not that fast. You guys are the same. It can happen, man.
Yep.
You just got to want it. Go find your way, man.
It doesn't matter what your size is, how big, how small, how tall you are. It's about your work.
Those little dudes got more heart than any big guy, man.
Everybody knows me, knows I'm not a Patriots fan, but I'm going to say the name Julian Edelman, right?
Yep.
Julian Edelman went to Kent State, played quarterback, right? I just watched the most recent episode of Man in the Arena.
Yeah.
And they talked about Julian Edelman and Bill Belichick talked about drafting him and said, hey, we're going to, when he got the call and got drafted by the Patriots, he was like, hey, I'm not sure what position you're going to play, but you can play football.
You play football for us.
That's my Bill Belichick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, he said, I don't know what position you're going to play, but you can play football. And that's what we want football players, right? So it doesn't matter how big, small, how you are.
That's
If you work and you play the game, you're going to get your shot, right? Because just like he played quarterback at Kent State,
Right.
Ended up winning Super Bowls with the New England Patriots,
Yep.
right? So as long as you work hard and give all you got on the field, you don't know what can happen for you.
You know, you play the position that helps your team. You know, because like, do you think any of those guys didn't play great defense too? Like, I guarantee you, Rodgers was probably a great safety. You know, Aaron Rodgers or just Matt Stafford. I don't know, but you know what I'm saying. Like, and a lot of times, guys that were running backs are like, you know, all-state running backs in their state go play All-American linebackers in college. You know, because it's a lot like him playing wide receiver. They know what's going to happen. They're fast. They get there, and
you see it all the time. You see wide receivers be converted to defensive backs. It's usually because they can't catch.
Yep.
Right. They're fast, but they don't have great hands, so they get converted to defensive backs. You see tight ends converted to offensive linemen. You see linebackers converted to tight end. You see tight ends converted to linebackers. You see,
how about J.J. Watts, man?
Receivers,
Central
quarterbacks
Michigan.
transition to wide receivers,
Yep.
so it doesn't matter. Like, just be willing to play whatever position gets you to the next level.
Now, you remember that CMU year that J.J. Watts was tight end and Antonio Brown was wide receiver? Rawls was the running back?
No, I don't. That escaped
Central
my
Michigan,
mind.
J.J. Watts was a tight end.
Was a tight end.
And his recruit from Manchester that saw him showcase was a guard on that team. So, yep. And of course, when we went down there, the poor kid, man. So we got this guy at, like when your kid's going to go play college somewhere, you're going to have this recruit that's just like another dad, man. He's every day, he's like, how you doing? Have a good day type thing. He got another job offer to go to a different head coaching job in Illinois and left. So he's down there with nobody. Nobody would say, that's my guy out there, work harder, just nothing, just he's all by himself, man. But that's kind of been his luck.
Well, so you got to use that, right? You're down there by yourself. Don't fill your free time with negative bullshit dumb stuff, right? Like, train, work out, work on your game, work on your skills. Like get bigger, faster, stronger.
He lifted on game days. If he wasn't playing, he'd be in there lifting, doing bench. They're like, "What are you doing? You ain't gonna play me on my bench."
I've heard a lot of athletes like, "Oh, I was in this place and I had no one around, and all I had to do, I had a lot of free time. So what I do? You got two choices. You can fill your free time with partying girls and all that other bullshit, or you can
work out.
Fill your free time with learning the game, learning your position, upgrading your skills, getting in on practice, getting in the gym, taking care of your body, all those things. Got to choose the positive.
Have a dream, set some goals to get there, plan to get there. This is a step, man, ABC. So it's just you're not going to go right straight. That just doesn't happen in anything in life, So.
Yeah. You were asking me about, will you look up D3 athletes that been drafted in the NFL? I think we'll see if Justice can come up with a list. But like I know one guy in particular I was telling you about, Cecil Shorts, wide receiver, got drafted by the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2014, I think. I recall. It was either 2011 or 2014. I can't remember. But he went to D3 Mount Union. He got drafted by the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't think anybody's been drafted out of D3 since then. I could be wrong, but I think that was the last time a D3 athlete was drafted. Most D3 athletes make it, via the undrafted free agent route.
They started out, like you said, with Rodgers. They were D3, and then they go into the portal and go to D1 or D2 after a couple of years.
Yeah. Well, Rodgers was JUCO.
JUCO.
He was JUCO, and then he transferred to Cal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that JUCO's worse off than D3, so you got to step up on that path at least. But I mean, hey, if a guy can go, we've all seen the Netflix documentary,
Last Chance,
right?
Yeah.
There's guys in the NFL right now that went to those schools that started at a
Yep.
JUCO, that went to he didn't end up doing much, but the Franklin kid, he was a quarterback. I forget his first name, Jonathan Franklin.
Okay,
right? He was quarterback. He went to Auburn, and then I think he ended up going to Coastal Carolina or USF or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, that's like community college ball or something for sure.
Yeah,
because Grand Rapids used to have a team like that. Grand Rapids Community College would play national.
Yeah, so he started out he went to Independence. I think it was Independence, or was it the first? Forget the school. The first couple seasons that was on there, but yeah, he ended up transferring to Auburn. I think he spent 1 year at Auburn, and then he finished up college at I want to say it was a Lane Kiffin coach school, like Coastal Carolina or USF or something like that.
Yep.
And then he actually got a shot in the NFL and made an NFL practice squad. He didn't really do much with that opportunity, but I mean, hey, it can be done.
Exactly. Yep.
All right, listen up. 2 words you should know. Benny's Beer Hall. That's right, Benny's Beer Hall is coming soon. Located in downtown Millington, Benny's Beer Hall is the newest spot to grab a cold craft beer, watch the big game, and hang with friends. Benny's Beer Hall will feature 16 beers on tap using the Nordic Tap draft system. TVs throughout the beer hall guarantee you'll be watching the game that you want. And if you're hungry, Benny's will feature some of the area's top food trucks and local carry-out cuisine. Benny's Beer Hall, coming this fall in downtown Millington. We'll see you at Benny's. Prost!
Cool, man.
So, Thade, tell me, before we get back into more Lions talk, what year of school are you at right now?
I'm a freshman right now.
Oh, freshman.
First
Okay.
year.
So you've got 1 season under your belt at Manchester?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So tell us about your best play and your worst play from this previous season.
My best play, I had a nice. This game was it was a close. Well, it wasn't close at first. They blew us out. It was like
Who'd you playing?
We were playing Adrian. I think.
In Adrian College, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We were down. It was 0-21, like halftime, and we weren't going to score. Like our offense probably wasn't going to score at all. And then I got a pick six, right, and to breathe some life into the team.
So describe the play. Describe the play to us? Run through the play.
Well,
what were they running? What coverage were you in?
Yeah, what was your vision?
I was just in man coverage. You know, this guy, he kept running like an out, and I knew when he was going to run it out because he kind of glanced there. I guess I don't know, but I knew he was going to run it out, so I kind of cheated it. Right, I looked at the quarterback. He just threw it. He didn't even look at me. He just threw it. And I just picked it up and pretty much walked into the end zone.
Nice. So you paid attention to the details, looked at the receiver's eyes, caught him looking, kind of looking at his route before he ran it, right?
They did it a lot. Yeah, they ran it out a lot. And the other times they just didn't catch it. So I think they just ran it again, and I just was just there.
You got vision from all of that time you put in. So, yeah.
But
that's good.
It's like subconscious, probably.
Now he asked you your worst play.
What's the worst play? What's the worst play on the field? A mistake you made, or a coverage you blew, or you let a guy burn you, or you got mossed, or something like that?
I got 2 pretty worst plays.
He's got 2.
I got 2 of them bad.
Just give us
You
one.
got 1 good, 2 bad.
Right. This one, it was. I think we were already losing. We didn't win a lot of games. We were losing, and I went to make a tackle, right, and I just grabbed. He had two towels on. I grabbed both towels and just pulled them both off, and he just kept going, like unfazed, ran right through. I grabbed both towels trying to make a tackle. I just had him in my hands, just looking, and he just went.
What'd you learn from that?
I should probably get I tried to grab legs. I didn't mean to grab the towels, man, but the angle was weird, and I just ended up grabbing pretty much air.
Yeah. We don't tackle with our hands.
Wrap up.
I know it was a weird angle.
Yeah,
it was a weird angle.
All right,
let's hear about the other one then. I mean,
all right.
We embarrassed the kid for one play. We're not going to make him spill the second. You keep that one in a lockbox, okay? Just learn from it.
I learned from it.
All right. So what are your expectations now going into season number 2?
I think now that I'm locked in at defense, I think I can make a bigger impact. I think because.
You don't think you will.
Yeah,
you either will or you won't. There's nothing
in
the middle, man.
Because when I switched to defense, I didn't think I didn't get a lot of playing time just because of the fact that I wasn't I didn't really know the plays until I was in it for a while, and by then the season was pretty much over. But I switched around too much, and now that I'm just locked in on defense, I'm going to just keep at it. In the spring little offseason thing, I'm going to keep at it there, and hopefully, they'll just. I don't know if I'll start. Hopefully, I'll start.
So, are you allowed to attend any camps in the off season, or in the spring, or is it spring? You have to be dedicated to spring practice. Do you guys do that kind of thing?
Up.
You're
they got spring practices are mandatory. I mean there's What do you mean?
Well, I know, like, as far as like high school players, I'm not too up on like how it is in college, but I know high school players, when they're in high school or coming out of high school, they tend to a lot of these camps put on by pro athletes. Right?
I think
is there any plans to attend any camps to
we're gonna
work on stuff?
Next Saturday, we're going to meet with William Cooper. He's from the area. I think he coaches at Davis this year. He was Grand Blank's DB coach. He played for Michigan State. He's a local guy. He's really good. Okay. Because Thade's making the change to defense. I don't want to talk for him, but it's like he's worked with Nate Burleson, everybody. Him and Andre Rison spent the whole day together, like on wide receiver. So he learned to be a good wide receiver. Now we need that same expert that might give him some Jedi knowledge. Coming from an OG, that he'll be able to take that with him. So like I got a hold of William Cooper. Big beep. He's out of the Grand Blanc area, and he's really good. So he'll be doing that. But when do you guys set up your spring practice? Set up in what?
Like
April or something? Or?
Near the end of March, I think. I think it's near the end of March.
Then he's gone. Like I got him for another week, and then I won't see him again until June. So
probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's sneak down there for some track meets. So. And I will. But it's tough. It's a ways down there. Like, they haven't really got cold weather yet, which was surprising. It's only 4 hours south, but.
Well, they're about to.
Exactly. Yep.
That winter storm coming in.
They say Nashville's getting 2 feet.
Yeah.
Nashville.
Yeah.
Wow, it's not in the brochure, man.
Yeah, it's supposed to be reaching all the way down to like Texas again.
Wow. We better build fire. That's funny, man.
So do you run track too?
Yeah. I do high jump.
Okay.
I'm pretty good at it. I think I'm pretty good at it.
What's your 40 time right now?
Right now, I think probably.
What think?
I haven't ran.
We got to eliminate this word "think" from your vocabulary.
Right. It's
either it's facts or it's you don't know.
I'm not
right?
slow.
So if you don't know your 40 time, just say I don't know. What's your 40 time?
I ran a 4.7 last year. That was like my best one ever. I haven't ran one this year, so I'm gonna just keep saying 4.7 because I'm not freakishly fast. Okay. I'm not slow either.
All right. Well, that's something you're gonna hopefully track helps you improve on that because you got to especially if you're thinking about the league, you got to get that 40 down to like 4.5.
4.5. That's it.
4.5. Once you start running 4.5s at the combine as a DB, they start talking to you about
you're in the category.
3rd, 4th round pick, 5th round pick. You got to as a DB, you got to have that 4.3, 4.4 speed. Those are the top corners have that kind of speed. I
got to add something, especially like for younger players that come up. That 40, it's a technique thing, man. I mean, because you can be fast and know you're fast, but when you start out in that first 10 yards, keeping low and just not pumping your arms too hard and finishing hard at the end is a matter of a 4.5 and a 5 flat. Like the difference between 4.5 and a 5 flat is this. That's it. So you got to perfect that technique. It really is.
But as far as play on the field, a lot of players will say, 40 times not.
Oh, it's important.
40 times. 40,
you can't beat what you can't catch. Everybody knows that.
40 time is good for, it really only gets talked about in the combine, right? Right. When you get drafted. When you're in the NFL, nobody talks about their 40 time.
Not anymore.
Nobody talks about, look at that. His 40 time is this 40 time is that.
Just like
nobody talks about
4.6 ain't nothing blazing.
Right. It depends. Your play on the field, right? Nobody's playing football at a dead sprint and a straight line, right? Unless somebody's broken away, right?
Yep.
So technique and play on the field count a lot more than your 40 time. But unfortunately, when you get judged as far as the combine goes, that's where your 40 time comes into play.
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of factors too. Like, so you have an off day, then you're off by that half second. That's like a 4.7 to 4.8.
Yeah.
That's just.
I don't know what as far as tall corner, like Richard Sherman comes to mind as a guy that's a big bodied tall corner, right? And I don't think he has a very fast 40 time. I think without knowing, I don't know, but I think it had to be around a 4 or 5 something 40 that Rich Sherman. But it doesn't matter.
Now Thade, he can slam the basketball, but he can stand at the hoop like flat footed and slam it. He couldn't do that last year in high school basketball. So like he's 18, like wait till you're 22, then you're on fire, 22 and 23, he's still growing into who he's going to be. I was just a little dude until about age 23 to 25. Then I put on some weight, but I was like that too. I was real skinny. I was fast, for a country kid. But I ran a 4.7 in high school, which was fast for high school back then, so.
Justice, did you were you an athlete in high school? Did you play any sports?
I ran track 1 year. That's it.
So do you run a long ways or you run fast in short distance?
I think it was called the 100-meter dash.
Yeah, that's quick. They had faith in you.
Yeah.
Yeah. You remember what your times were? Or?
They were not good.
I ran track.
You remember he said he did 1 year.
1 year. Yep. Okay.
Yep.
All right, that's it. Just track.
I did a little baseball. I was better at baseball, but track was most recent.
Okay.
Same season, too. That's like you either do one or the other, and I guess guys play both, but I don't. You're a baseball guy. You're a baseball guy.
Yeah, because I don't know. Baseball gets played in the spring, obviously, and I think that's at the same time track goes on, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. So if you could play one sport right now, what would it be?
Baseball.
Baseball.
Yeah.
What position?
I like when all the attention is on the pitcher, and you're up there and you're just like, yeah, you're going to strike out. I'm ready.
When you played, did you pitch?
No, they didn't trust me to pitch.
All right.
But what position did you play when you played?
I usually played third base.
Okay.
Or maybe
in the infield, they had trust in you.
Is that left? Yeah, left field.
Right field or left field? Because there's a big difference.
Left field.
So behind the third baseman.
So they had faith in you. That's where the ball goes a lot.
Yeah,
right-handed batter.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are important positions. So you must have been decent at least.
Yeah, and part of that was me and my dad would work on, and that's why I like the dynamic between you two. It's like I see a lot of me and you, and a lot of my dad and you.
Right.
It's like working with each other to help, me and you fulfill our goals and dreams. Yeah.
Now, Hutch, was your dad supportive? Was he? My dad didn't care what I did at all. It was just all me. I was just possessed and was obsessed with wanting to be the best.
Not really. No. I always say a lot of times the only thing my dad ever taught me was to catch a football.
Okay.
In the backyard. That was it. And when I did play football, I primarily played tight end.
Yeah, me too. Yep.
And
then defensive end, they just let me walk to the other side of the line.
Yeah.
So,
in my younger years of playing football in school, I played tight end, some defensive end, some linebacker, and like back in like 8th grade, I played some safety.
Okay.
But
that's a big change to go from D end to safety. Because I just played D end and
I went the opposite.
I
started at safety. So like when I played, let's say 7th grade. So 7th grade, I was like a bigger 7th grader.
Right.
So I played linebacker. Then in 8th grade, there was a lot. The kids were a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
So I transitioned back to safety.
Okay.
So I was more of a safety. I wasn't a fast guy, but I could cover, returned a couple punts. But then when I got into high school, or later into 8th grade and into high school, I started playing tight end and defensive end.
Because we're big, they just put us up there. I was the fastest on the team, but I played the line,
right?
Tight end.
But
they throw me the ball too, and
I did have good hands. I really have good hands, and that's what I always say. The only thing my dad ever taught me was to catch a football.
I always had this seam route that I do. It was almost like a post coming in, but it was more of a drag. Just over once the defense came forward, it's just me, and then I was fast, so then it was gone once I got it, and big too. If you get my way, it'd be like, "Here comes Henry, you little DB."
Yeah, I was never fast, but I could run routes and I had good hands. So, yeah,
I just pounded it on him. Everything you could think of, like I make him catch 100 catches a night above the head, off to each side. It was never hit the body. It was always. And he always had big hands. He was always a bigger kid, too. His mom was like 6 feet tall. So,
one drill that I learned was you take the football, and on the end of the football, on the outside of the stripe, right, in the cone, right, you have your 4 quadrants, right?
Yep.
You paint those 4 quadrants white on the tip, right?
You watch it.
And with a Sharpie, you write 1, 2, 3, 4, right?
Okay.
And when you catch the ball, you throw the ball, this is catch the ball like this, right? Catch with your hands. And when you catch it, whatever number is right here, you call that number out. Right? It teaches you to watch the ball into your hands, right?
So you keep your eye on the ball.
Yep. You watch the ball into your hands. So you catch it, and you call out the number on the quadrant that's facing up.
Cool.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good drill to practice with.
Yeah.
Yeah, that and the over the throw catch. You can do the same thing over the throw.
I never got good at that. I always had to turn around and catch it.
Over
I
the
never
shoulder.
could catch it. Because I think I had astigmatism with my eyes. I'm like, I can't see that, so I just turn around.
Well, yeah. A lot of people struggle with that's the same drill. You can do the drill with the same ball with the numbers painted on it, but just put that on the back end. And when you throw it over the shoulder, you could be on your knees. You could do the simulated running thing, catch it, and call out that number on the quadrants. So,
What we call that when you're a kid, when I just put it up.
You just threw it up there. You just said go. You just said go.
No, it was a name for it. We'd like wrap up practice for the night, and I goes, all right, now.
Go for money.
Go for money.
Go for money.
The money, like you catch that thing over your head. Like we're talking 11 years old, Yeah. He got it. And at first, man, it took a long time. And then he could just catch it no matter what at one point, So there's like roll it off the house or, we got there. But it took work, So, but of course, when kids are growing too, man, they like their feet are getting bigger. They get cloudy for a while. Like there was a point where he was like 6 foot tall, probably 135 pounds, and his head was big and his hands were super big. He's wearing 14 shoe and like he'd trip over his feet,
Yep.
And then the rest of it grew into his body. And that's going to happen for youngsters too. It's going through the same problems, So,
well, I tell you what, you brought up J.J. Watt.
yeah.
And I'll tell you what, if I showed this to my son one time too, if there's ever a kid that needs to learn or needs an example of someone that works really fucking hard,
Yeah.
it's J.J. Watt.
Yeah.
You go back, I think it was a couple of years ago when Hard Knocks did the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
Go back and watch that. Go back and watch that and just watch J.J. Watt, right? There's a scene from that one of the episodes in that series where J.J. Watt, they have full day of practice, full day meetings, practice, and then they just cut to this shot of J.J. Watt out on the practice field at 8 o'clock at night, or it was dark, right? He's there. No one else is there. No one else is there. J.J. Watt is out on the practice field by himself catching balls out of the jug machine as a defensive end, right? Like no one outworks that guy, right? No one shows up earlier than that guy, right?
Nobody stays later.
That's that mentality. Like nobody, I'm going to stay late. Nobody's going to outwork me on the field, right? Put in the work. Go watch that. Watch that when you have no time. When you have some free time. All this time you're trying to fill.
Now,
watch that season of Hard Knocks with the Houston Texans and just pay attention to J.J. Watt.
He's coming in on Monday night to chase Stafford. He's back. So
Yeah.
I think I heard that. Did you?
Yeah, well, he's
watch
back.
it back and
Yep.
So,
He
yikes.
tore his shoulder muscle. Tore his shoulder muscle so bad they said the bone tore through the muscle in his shoulder, right? And he was supposed to be out. He was supposed to be out till next season, and I think it's like 4 weeks later he's back. 4 or 6 weeks later he's full recovery, ready to play.
Yep.
Yeah, it's amazing. Derrick Henry too. Derrick Henry. Oh my God. I mean, back when we were kids, or even 10 years ago, right? An ACL injury meant you were done.
You're done.
You were done for like a season plus, right? Because it wasn't always a guarantee.
And it was never going to be the same.
Depend on when in the season you had it, right? Derrick Henry tore his ACL towards the beginning of the season. I can't remember which week it was. It was early in the season. And now he's coming back for the playoffs, right?
Yep.
It's amazing that either it's an advance in science
and medicine,
the way they do the surgery, or just the freakish nature of the athlete he is. But that's amazing that he's coming back from an ACL injury.
Since you mentioned that, that's something that I have a lot of respect for too. It's like people really love to see other people do bad. Like Antonio Brown's little demonstration he did is a perfect example. It's like everybody just likes to hate on the guy. Like, what a piece of shit. And it's like, he's a pro athlete, man. He's a pro football player. There's only 2,000 in existence in the universe. I mean, that's a special person. I mean, yeah, he is setting an example.
That doesn't excuse what he did, though.
You're right.
Doesn't excuse what he did.
But you got to respect him. He's not a piece of shit. You can't be a plumber and rag on an athlete like that. I mean,
that's it. I mean, when these athletes, when you do things over and over and over again like this, Antonio Brown, Terrell Owens, Josh Gordon, you can name more, right?
Right.
I told my son, and there's a quote that I kind of live by. It's like, we are what we repeatedly do.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
The guy's one of the greatest wide receivers ever, but unfortunately, that's wiped away by his antics and his behavior. Right. So now he's not going to be defined by his play on the field. He's going to be defined by he's a diva and he's a loose cannon and he's this and he's that, and nothing having to do with football, right?
Right.
Like regardless of whether you were actually hurt or not, and your coach was trying to make you go in the game and you were hurt.
Right.
Regardless, that
take care of it after the show.
That is not the right. That's not the right reaction to that. Right?
Right. Very bad.
Not to strip off your pads and dance your way across the field and get in a cab. Right.
It was entertaining though.
Take off. Right.
Dennis Rodman.
Regardless of what happened, that's not the right reaction.
Right.
And so he's not going to be judged by the great year and a half that he spent on the Bucks. And,
right.
And
that Super Bowl, man, it played a big point in.
He turned it around. They said up until that point, he was a model citizen, right?
Really him.
Up until his suspension for the fake COVID card.
Yep. He
was a model citizen, right? When he came back from that suspension, that 3-game suspension for, falsifying COVID document.
Right.
He said it was different. He was treated different, right? But rightly so, a little bit, Like
you expect that?
You
lied. You fraud.
You fraudulently made a COVID vaccine card. You were treated as a vaccinated player. You put all of us in danger, right? I mean, danger. I mean, getting COVID, right? You put all of us at risk because you're now being treated as a vaccinated player. So, yeah, your teammates might treat you a little bit differently,
for sure,
right?
Yep.
Because that's one thing you could maybe not be truthful to a coach. You should be, right? But when you're in a locker room, and I've been around a lot of athletes with whether Ray, Dre, Judd, Mike Fordham, all these guys,
right?
You don't do that to teammates. When you're a teammate in a locker room, you're a family, right? And you don't do that to your brothers, right?
That's right.
Or sisters, regardless of gender. But yeah, you just don't do that. So yeah, they might treat you a little differently. And they said he was a model citizen up to that point, and when he came back from that suspension, that's when he was maybe treated a little bit differently, right? Regardless, you got to earn that trust back from your teammates, right?
Right.
And that reaction, leaving the field like that against the Jets, that's not a reaction that you should display just because you had a disagreement with your coach, right?
Right.
Regardless of what the coach did, regardless how he treated you, that's not the right response.
Correct.
So
nobody acts like that.
He's
right?
going to be judged by those actions and not his great years in Pittsburgh.
Yep.
The great year and a half he had with the Bucs and the Super Bowl and all
they're going to remember is him naked in the end.
All they're going to remember him now by his exit from Pittsburgh, his exit from the Raiders, his exit from New England.
The Raiders was over a helmet or something, right? He had a special helmet that he.
Well, that was one of the things. He had the feet thing and then the helmet thing,
right?
And then he just turned into a diva, and they're like, we can't deal with this guy anymore, so they let him go.
Yeah.
And then he exited New England for an off the field incident. Now he's gone from the Bucs. So,
think anybody would pick him up? Still a good player.
I do.
I do too.
I do. I have a bet going with a buddy of Marcellus's that he'll
who you think's going to get him?
That he'll get a chance. Somebody will give him a chance.
Yeah.
He's too good of a receiver. We've seen guys like Josh Gordon get several chances.
Yeah.
He's just too good of a receiver not to be given a chance, at least in a training camp situation by another team.
I like how Odell's carrying himself with the Rams too.
I'm not sure who. There was a couple teams I had in mind. I don't think he's going to get another shot with Pittsburgh. Man, there was a team. I was just talking to someone the other day. I can't remember what team it was that said he might get a shot. It has to be with someone. It has to be with an established coach, right?
Right.
And a decent-ish quarterback. He's not gonna go play for the Jets, or he's not gonna come here to the Lions. I don't think.
No.
Man, I wish I could remember the team.
I wanted Beckham bad. I was mad we didn't even try for that.
What's that?
I wanted Beckham bad. I was mad that the Lions didn't even try, man. And I also wanted Cam Newton because that's when Goff was playing so bad. Because like Goff, he just went through some time where he just didn't seem athletic. But you know what? They're learning the system, and I wasn't patient with that. I get it now. So.
Baltimore.
Yeah.
Baltimore is the team that I thought he might get a shot with because
that could work.
Harbaugh's there. His cousin, Hollywood Brown, is on the team. There were some rumors last season or before he signed with the Bucs that's a team he might have signed with. So I think Baltimore maybe be the front runner there. There's a couple other teams, but Yeah.
Now, what's this getting the old dudes out of retirement? Who's the guy that got coming in from the Rams? I mean, I remember him, like, was it 10 years ago or something?
Eric Weddle?
Yeah.
Oh,
how long's that been?
The Rams?
Yeah, like.
He was.
How can they do that, though? I mean,
he played for Baltimore.
Come out of retirement. It's been a long time, right? 5 years at least since he played, right?
Yeah, you can. And who knows if a lot of players don't even file their retirement papers right away.
You're at him again.
There's a lot of guys in the NFL. I forget who it was.
Gronk, when he faked like he retired, so he didn't have to come to Lions, and then come back with Brady.
Yeah, not Gronk, but there was some other player that famously he left the game, but he didn't file retirement papers right away. But it depends on the player. But yeah, I mean, just because you're retired doesn't mean you can't come out of retirement. But Eric Weddle, I think
during the playoffs too, it was kind of like okay, but so if they weren't, I don't know.
I think
my team's doing good. I'm back.
I think it's only been a couple years or a season or two since Eric Weddle retired.
Okay,
I want to say maybe
I thought he played with Kurt Warner in it.
It was the end of last year or the year before that. No, he last played with the Ravens, I think. Right, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
You see the movie The American Underdog?
I haven't yet. I haven't seen it yet.
You know what? It's more of a drama than it is a football movie. You know, you're expecting any given Sunday or something. But it's not like that. It's just like Kurt Warner's a good dude.
Yeah.
You know, it was a good movie. We like it. We saw it on Christmas Day, whenever it came out. So
I'll probably watch it when it comes out on like some whatever streaming service it does. Yeah,
the dude that plays him. I just can't get over Shazam. You know, how he acts in Shazam. That's how Kurt Warner is portrayed.
Yeah. You know what's
when
even
he
worse?
talks, the eyes come open wide and stuff. It's like Shazam. You know. So.
You know what's even worse for me is that guy got his break on this NBC sitcom called Chuck. And every time I see that guy,
he's Chuck to you.
He's Chuck to me.
Shazam to me.
Yeah, Shazam to you. Right?
Kurt Warner, come on, man. You know?
Yeah, there was a show on NBC that came. It was out. It was last on maybe. Man, I don't even want to date myself. Maybe like 10 years ago, maybe. I have to look it up. But it was a show on NBC called Chuck. It's about this guy who worked at like a Best Buy store and secretly got wrapped up into being like a spy.
Okay.
Right? Because an old buddy of his ended up being a spy and sent him this secret message, and then he got wrapped up in being a spy. So he's working at like a Best Buy, but he's like he's being a spy too, and he's like just goofy. He's learning how to be a spy, and he's partnered up with some hot chick CIA spy or whatever, you know. Yeah, so it was a funny show. It was great.
That's when we seen the movie, you know, like Thade's going for software engineering, and school's pretty important. He does well in it. Like we're watching it, and like Kurt's like, got no money, runs out of gas, you know, and just like no place to live. And Faith's like, didn't you dude like go to college for 4 years? I mean, how come you can't get a job? I'm like, yeah, no shit, man. I mean, what'd you do? Just go to college to play football, or did you actually go to class, you know? So I like got online real quick and looked up his majors, communications. So maybe there wasn't a lot of work in the communications field for him, but you know, he's like,
communication seems to be a popular.
That's what I did.
Field of
I was
study
deaf, went
for-
to college,
for
communications.
athletes.
Yep. Like, what do you want to do? I'm like, I don't know, you know, communications. Oh, okay. You know?
Right.
So then it started following course, you know, and then I'm like, wait a minute, I ain't going to do this. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So let's wrap up here by talking a little bit more about the Lions real quick. So
Okay.
what were your impressions of Dan Campbell as head coach this year?
You know, it was hot and cold. It was a love-hate relationship, but overall, a B. I gave him as a grade, and, you know, who would want that job? I didn't have a lot of expectations at all because they didn't have anything. Realistically, I seen what was on the field and just wasn't there. You know, you can't make an old 77 Dodge keep up to a Corvette at 2022. He did good. He's the right guy for the job. He really is, dude. I mean, I wanted him gone like about maybe seventh game in, but he wears his heart on his shoulder, which can be a good thing and a bad thing. You know, he cries. He's passionate. I think with a good offensive coordinator, we're going to be fine. You know, but I don't think we can leave Meathead thinking like, let's go on fourth down every time, or maybe kick a field goal when there's only 3 minutes left and we could actually win the game. That stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Well, my biggest takeaway is that the passion that he coaches with.
Yeah.
Right. He's very passionate. Yeah, I think the coordinator spots were a little bit lacking. But you can't take, I mean, to win what, 4 games?
Yeah.
4 games with that roster of players.
Right. Exactly.
There's not a single receiver on that team that would start for another team. Right.
That's right.
Right.
Yep.
We have we have our entire receiver room are all backups.
Like,
Right?
who's that little dude? And he did well to the little Asian guy.
Khalif Raymond.
Yeah. Fast.
Yeah.
Plays
he's
his
pretty
heart out,
decent.
man. But
Yeah.
who was that dude?
Yeah, all these guys, none of these guys, even Amon-Ra St. Brown on a normal team, he was like a 3rd round draft pick.
Right.
Like he wouldn't be starting.
Right. Probably,
He'd be that 4th wide receiver maybe. Right.
possibly practice squad. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe not, but he'd be that like 4th wide receiver
Right.
on a good team. But just nobody in the wide receiver room. Our defensive backs were just trash all year, depleted with injury. Second, next man up guys in the back.
Linebacker.
Not really
Defensive
much.
line.
Not really much on the defensive line. You got a couple of the rookies like Akeem McNeil
Yeah.
that played okay. Derek Barnes was a good surprise, but to win 4 games with that roster was pretty impressive.
It really was. Yep.
We've got some pieces. We know we've got 2 great running backs, maybe 3 now with Reynolds.
The running game was beautiful, man.
Right. Obviously, we've got the tight end. Goff is a decent quarterback. He's not gonna. I don't know how many games Goff is gonna win you,
Right.
but he doesn't lose you a lot of games either.
Right.
We've finally got a great offensive line in place.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even with Ragnow going down, Ragnow will be back next year. So
Yep.
at least the 2 tackle spots in the center, we got decent guard play. So we've got a good offensive line. The focus of the draft should be on
Defense.
On the defense,
Yep.
right?
So that being said, who do you think they're going to take with that second pick?
Well, I hope it's Aiden Hutchinson.
Okay, so if he's gone, then
He won't be gone.
Huh?
We have the number 2 pick. The only
we're either getting him or is it Thibodeau that
Thibodeau, Kayvon Thibodeau. I think
They're the same guys,
I
too.
think the Jags will take Thibodeau.
Me too.
Or
You know?
Thibodeau, not Thibodeau. It's Kayvon Thibodeau.
Yeah.
With a T. But yeah, I think we should get a guy like Hutchinson. I think Hutchinson could be a big upgrade on the defensive line. If he plays, I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago or last week. His showing in the semifinal game, that it put a little worry in my mind.
Yeah, it certainly did.
But I
Me
think,
too.
but I think he's a beast. I think he'll overcome that. That guy,
They handled him.
That guy works hard.
Georgia, he
Yeah.
wasn't even existing.
They schemed him out of the game. They handled him, yeah. But I hope that he can overcome that. I really hope. I think he'll be a Joey Bosa type player. The Bosa brothers, a TJ Watt.
Yeah.
He's not going to be a crazy speed end, but he's going to be one of those power end rusher, type of guys. But yeah, I think Dan Campbell did a pretty good job. I think we're on the right track.
Yeah.
We showed enough this year. He got those guys to play their hearts out.
They never give up, man.
And as soon he's that type of coach where you can get those guys to play that hard and be in those games.
Yeah.
And what I think we had 3 other wins that were right there.
They were.
Right.
Yeah.
That Ravens game.
There's 7
that
total that
Minnesota
we could have won either way.
Yeah.
Even the tie.
7 games that were 1 score or less.
That's 11 wins if you
Yeah.
add that up. So we were kind of in there. So, the whole culture changed too. Galladay, I hated to see go, but you could tell everybody just give up on Patricia. What we were watching was just shit. It wasn't a real. Nobody cared. It was bad. So it was refreshing. Even though we were losing, it was entertaining and it was hopeful. Not at first. At first, I'm like, man, they get Cam Newton, get Odell Beckham. Let's try at least. And then all of a sudden, that team started to gel. He started to fire on all 8. I was surprised. I'm like, yeah, I like these guys, man.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad they won that last game, man.
Yeah,
the momentum's moving forward,
That's I think it's a good thing they didn't go out and get guys like Cam Newton or Odell Beckham.
Right.
Because you're building this from the ground up, right?
Yep.
You don't want to bring in those kinds of guys.
I just wanted some wins, but I'm glad we didn't.
Especially
but at the time,
those guys with they've got some, cancerous mentalities in your locker room.
Right.
You don't want any of that in your locker room. We're not gonna we're gonna bring in they have to bring in some free agents in the offseason.
Oh yeah.
But they're building this from the ground up and they're gonna bring their type of players. Another successful draft. Hopefully will get us on the right track of that. I think we're gonna have to bring in another free agent wide receiver.
Yeah. Yep.
There was
It'd be nice to draft that big wide receiver from USC that what's his name? London. You know what I'm talking about? They have a wide receiver.
I do, but I can't remember his name.
Right. Oh my God. But anyways,
yeah, they gotta. I think Aiden Hutchinson will be their pick. But I think my personal opinion, unless there's a wide receiver that's just you can't pass up,
like Devontae Adams. But, okay, yeah.
In those first three picks, ought to be defensive picks.
They have to be. Yep.
We
always go for wide receiver. No, man. Then that's why. That's
Yeah.
why we're in the team we've been. We never went defense.
Yep,
We
and I
said
don't
that
even-
when we met in the fall. We've done nothing to make our defense better. There's no way we can win.
Yeah. I don't even want to hear the word quarterback during the draft.
No.
As far as us drafting a quarterback.
There's not one worth going after.
There's not one worth going after. We don't need to draft a quarterback. If you want a quarterback, a backup, or someone to compete with Goff,
Yeah.
go out and get a guy like Mitch Trubisky or Marcus Mariota. One of those guys.
Who's the kid at Manchester? Right.
No, right?
Yeah.
Bring in one of those guys. But no quarterbacks, and I don't want to even sniff a wide receiver. Unless
We don't need a running back either. Our running backs are studs.
If there's not a guy, I've seen a couple draft boards where our first pick was Aiden Hutchinson, second pick was a wide receiver. But that guy better be special. It's a wide receiver. Otherwise, defense. Right?
Who's the wide receiver for USC? Now it's killing me. Number 15, I think.
Who's a draft prospect from wide receiver?
Oh my God! But yeah, but anyways, and they would accent St. Brown, or it's Ramen St. Brown, right? Or Amon Ra St. Brown, because the dad was Mr. Olympia, right?
Yeah,
just John Brown,
and his brother plays for the Packers.
Yeah,
Quinius St. Brown,
and he's big.
Yeah,
but the little one seems better.
Yep.
So,
Amon Ra, AMON hyphen RA.
Yeah.
Right, it means God of the Sun or Sun God or something like that. Amon Ra was
it does. It's Arabic,
God
right?
of the Sun.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, Amon Ra St. Brown. Yep. But I think we're on the right track.
Me too. Yep.
I think we're on the right track. I think
Green Bay was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan Campbell kind of he followed up. I think he followed up on his comments. Everybody remembers his opening press conference about biting off kneecaps and getting punched, and getting back up. We played that way all year.
Yeah.
We were in games. We came back a couple games. We didn't give up. We didn't really get,
everybody's calling for the firing and everyone like, man, it's way too early for that. And he's like, I expect that. People should want to fire me for this. And I respected him saying that. I'm like, I still like it now, because you admitted it, you knew it. And I'm like, man, this meathead can't coach, what are they thinking? But it started to develop and I was like, I'll be damned.
And a couple of those wins came with some of our big pieces out. Like when we went through a couple of weeks when Swift was out. We had, Williams was out and Craig Reynolds came in and played very
Reynolds,
well.
man, he was beasting.
Right?
Both Reynolds in that game.
Yep. Hutchinson was down the last couple of weeks of the season. So, Frank Ragnow went out early in the season. So, we pulled out some wins with not only the shitty roster we had, but then
guys from Lowe's
backups as well,
Manchester.
So it's a next man up mentality. When you have the right coaching in place, when you have a guy that can inspire guys to play hard like that,
right?
That's what you want, because now, as soon as we add talent,
amen.
The ceiling is a roof, as they say, right?
Yep.
The world is our oyster. We have that kind of coaching and we have that kind of mentality in that locker room, that kind of culture. As soon as you start to sprinkle in the talent at some of those pieces, man, we can go places.
It's funny because I did join the Rams fan pages and stuff, and they miss Goff, and they were missing Goff when we were really bad. They didn't know what was going on here. The West Coast not paying attention to us. I mean, Goff had some really bad games, man. I'm like, God, this kid's not even athletic, But have you seen, he gets in makeup and goes out and tries out he's a transfer to a D3. I think it's Ventura.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. And he says, the quarterback, you the punter? He goes, no, I'm a quarterback too. It's just after that, I'm like, I like this dude a lot more than I did yesterday, so.
Justice, did you find that? Who's the wide receiver, the NFL prospect from USC?
I got a list of
either number one,
6 people.
Number 15 is his number.
Let me see.
Wide receiver for USC, or wide receiver prospects.
Wide receiver prospects. I'm on. How do you say his name?
We got him already. So
okay, let me get the rest of them then. If you're watching, Talanoa,
That's not the guy.
Marlon Tupilotu, Tyler Vaughns, and Aliyah Vera Tucker.
No, you have to Google like USC plus
USC.
NFL prospect.
Or just USC wide receivers. He'll come up first, I think.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Yep. Hey, if anybody out there knows how I can get on that Greta Van Fleet show on March 18th, Rev Right Time wants to warm them up. You know, we're hometown boys, and I think I got to help you draw. So, hey, Tommy Two-Tone was all right. I was pretty blackout drunk. I don't remember any of it. But remember, I promoted that the last time we were here, and it went all right, you know?
Yeah.
He wasn't very good, though. It was like when you get a guy like that that's older that has one hit, he's going to play it last. So you got to set through a bunch of, oh, man, just like chewing on tinfoil, you know?
So Thade, I got a question for you. With your dad being a musician, right? Have you listened to much of your dad's music from his career?
Oh yeah, I've heard all of it, man. Some of it's pretty good.
Fan of it? Some
Yeah,
of it.
some
He
of
said
it's
some of it's pretty good. Was he hard on you? Like, did he help you? Did he contribute to, like, was he an influence in your musical choices now?
On what I like to listen to?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't even know what I like. No,
No?
He's not in it at all. No.
He's a B-side guy, man. Yep.
No,
I like-
so my dad, I have a lot of music that I like, but it's influenced from my dad from when I was younger. My dad used to listen to a lot of music, you know, so like the Paul McCartney, the Beatles, the Eagles, Billy Joel, Elton John, you know, things like that.
Like
right?
the Brits, man.
So like I still listen to some of that, you know, because it was from my childhood, you know. I'm named
It reminds you of that time. Yep.
I'm named after an Elton John song, for Christ's sake. So
All of our lives have soundtracks, man.
right?
Yep.
So to hear certain songs, like, you know, I remember those, you know, musical influence when I was a kid.
You like the new Rocket Man by
The
Dua
movie?
Lipa, but it's disco?
Oh no, I haven't heard it.
Man, it's cool.
I
I
haven't
love
heard
it, dude.
I'll check it out.
It's really cool. Rocket Man disco. And she actually has Elton John singing verses.
Yeah?
So cool. Oh, yeah. Home run.
So has your dad played into any of that? Your dad's musical career, or had your dad as a dad played into any influences in music that, like, say some old stuff that you like because maybe an influence from your dad?
Not really. No,
No?
I mean, we just both like different. I like my music kind of like lower production quality. You know, like I like the SoundCloud guys that are like just trying to make it out. You know,
Yeah.
because that's real. That's real. Like like Drake's like assembly line songs, man. Those are like the same song just over and over. I'm not a fan of Drake like that, but
Because I have to add, and I don't mean to do this, but like I like Justin Bieber, man. The production's beautiful. It's so amazing, and that's what he hates. It's like just
fake,
so well
man.
done.
It's all fake.
But
It's
see,
process.
I was like he said, I was a B-side SoundCloud type of musician. I wanted that sound, and that's why I respect and admire it so much. Because that's what I always wanted to sound like, and I never got to. Because I was always like, what he's into, SoundCloud. Because like he knows every lyric to all my songs. I hear him like bring back some bad ones that I wrote. He'll be like just like sound off some place. I'm like, man, that's always bad, dude. No, it wasn't that bad. I go,
So
"No, it was awful."
your dad
stick.
did
I
influence.
guess
It did influenced him to go the other way. You know,
his songs, I guess his songs did stick in there because I'll just remember a verse and I'll be like, "Is that from something?" And he's like, "No, I wrote that." And, oh,
one day he goes, "You didn't write Well Wisher," and I'm like, "No, that's my song." He goes, "No," I wrote it. He just didn't realize it. It's that good. So
yeah, I
you
thought
know,
it was a real.
yeah. But
You should get.
I get that. You know, I put him in a band for a while. He was playing congas for us for a little bit when he was 13, 14, you know?
A little bit.
So
Nice.
Just
I just wanted to have him to have exposure in front of a lot of people like the show. Someday he might have to talk in an interview. I'm like, let's do an interview so you got experience at it, you know?
Yeah.
So, yep. So, yeah.
All right.
The more you do something, the better you get at it, I guess, right? So
You got the answer. You got the answer for us, there, Justice.
I think so. I'm on Ross St. Brown and then Tyler Vaughns on this 2022 list.
Tyler Vaughns, is that the guy from USC? Tyler Vaughns.
is it his number 15? He's a big wide receiver, too.
Amon Ross St. Brown is the guy that he's a rookie for the Lions right now.
It doesn't give me a number. Let me see.
And because I can't, I have to know what this is.
It's bothering us so bad.
Yep.
All right, so who are your music?
Drake London.
What?
Drake London.
Jake or Drake?
Drake.
London. That's right, London. I kind of had a feeling it was.
And they hinted that they wanted to go that, so you know Brown would have his guy and you know something go off. I don't know the rhythm, but still we need defense. Nothing but defense. So, and hopefully, you know, from the free agency we get some good defensive players. You know,
Yeah.
and maybe people want to come here because the culture's different. Because you got to admit, nobody really wanted to come to Detroit. It was like just bad for so long.
I don't think they wanted to last year. But I think now, once free agent players meet Dan Campbell,
Yeah,
they're going to want to come play here.
I think so. Yep.
Just
You know,
the type of coach he is.
Remember, we said that too in the fall. Is he at least he played on the 0-16 Lions team, because remember I said he'd be the first coach to go 0-17 because he played on the 0-16 team. But
Yeah.
but no, what I think we all agreed at 3 wins, right? None of us were saying they were going to go to the playoffs or anything.
For most of the season, it was 0-16 talk again, or 0-17 talk.
It got close. Yeah. Yep.
Until they got that tie,
tie, and then
tie,
pick up.
Yeah.
And then when we brought Reynolds in, we need to re-sign him. Reynolds was nice, man. Goff found a comfort zone, and it kind of freed up everybody else. So like now he's got a target. So
yeah, he's not a terrible receiver. He can have a place on the team going forward, but I don't think he's going to be a major.
We shouldn't pay
contributor.
A lot. Know, so.
That's why I was a little upset that Galladay left, and I know. Yeah, I get it. Your second contract, you've been with the Lions, and you see him going downhill. But I think if Galladay had to do it over again, if he's looking at the team right now, the Giants or the Lions,
yep.
I think he'd be in a better spot with the Lions if he'd
sure.
have stayed with the Lions. Now I get Marvin Jones leaving, right? Although he did talk out of both sides of his mouth, and I'm going to call him out publicly because he said I want to go play for a contender, and then he went and signed with fucking Jacksonville. Right? So. I get Marvin Jones leaving because you don't want to lose anymore and everybody's going, but why, as Marvin Jones, why didn't you go play with someone like, New England or Kansas City or Baltimore or, a team in contention, right?
Yep.
Or even fucking Green Bay. I wouldn't have been mad at him, you know what I mean? But
right.
you leave us to go sign with Jacksonville. You just took a step down.
Yep.
Right.
He walked out of the bathroom into the outhouse. So,
right. Their future might be a little bit brighter there, as far as like talent they drafted and being a young team, and now they got to start over again with a head coach. But I think if Galladay had to choose again, like right now, like, hey, would you rather be on the Giants right now or the Lions right now? I put money on he'd say the Lions.
Oh yeah,
because the Lions are going up. The Giants are still on that downward spiral.
Yep.
The Lions are at ground level. They're in the basement, and they're climbing the stairs up, I think.
Yep, me too. Yeah, surprisingly. You probably thought I thought that, though. But I'm the guy that likes Michigan and Michigan State, though. Yeah, Ray's not here. He kicked me out, man.
Right, yeah. All right, man. Well, Pat, I appreciate you joining us today.
Cool, man.
Glad to have you back.
Thanks for having the boy, too, man.
Thade, it's a pleasure meeting you, man.
Yep, all right. Too,
you keep making the best of your opportunities though down there at Winchester College, and
all right.
Work hard, make your way out of there, and the sky's the limit, man. All right,
sure, man. I'm gonna keep trying.
All right.
The one thing about staying there is like we could have went in the portal and went somewhere else. Then you start over. So at least coaches, they know you. Everybody wanted to jump around. That's not the way either, man. That shows every team. That shows the NFL too that you're not going to stick around. Nobody wants that. It's a team, man. Just one person.
One person.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Well, like I say every week, if you like what we do, hit that like button, subscribe, follow us for more content. Got some new Browning that just came out, so check that out and give us your feedback. And remember, January 22nd, Benny's Beer Hall is finally opening January 22nd, downtown Millington. We plan to do a show there that day on the 22nd. I think he's open the 20th, excuse me. Full open on the 20th, January 20th. We'll be doing a show there on January 22nd, Saturday.
He has asked the Rev Right Time to play, and we will acoustically. We're just trying to figure out when. And because that discussion has happened too. So I'm like, yeah. For sure. That drink and drive just a little ways that way.
Yeah. So
mile down the road.
Thursday, January 20th, Benny's Beer Hall opening downtown Millington. Make sure you go check it out. Supposed to have a lot of good beers on tap and some live music in there as well. Yep. So go check it out. Justice, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Justice.
No problem.
We appreciate it. All right. We will see you next week. Ray we should be back next week. So until then, we'll see you then.